Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Dhiren, and in this video we would see an integration between Zendesk and GitHub using an integration solution named Exalate. So Exalate is an integration solution which can help you synchronize Zendesk tickets with GitHub issues bidirectionally. To do that, how you can proceed is that come to the Exalate website, and under the support menu you would find the documentation where you'd find a step-by-step tutorial for an integration between Zendesk and GitHub. Just select the platforms and click on the check tutorial button. So here, the step one is installation of the product on Zendesk, then installing Exalate on GitHub, then choosing a connection type, setting up the connection, and start synchronization. So those are the 5 steps that you need to follow. Just to give you a heads up on both the platforms, Exalate is an app that is listed on their store. You can just directly install it from there and just get started with that. For this video, I have two environments with me. I have a Zendesk environment, and I also have a GitHub instance with me, where I would be using this Exalate team test sync repository. Yeah, and we would see how to synchronize issues and tickets bidirectionally with Exalate. So to access Exalate on Zendesk side, you can just click on this icon. You would be able to find this once it's installed. Uh, so you would, yeah, this is how it would look. So under the connections tab, you would see there are two buttons: initiate connection and accept invitation. So you can just click on the initiate connection button on, let's say, the source side. So for example, if Zendesk is source, you can just initiate it from this. You just need to put in the destination URL. For this video, my destination is GitHub. So I'll just put in the Exalate URL on the GitHub side, and then just pasting it here. By the way, the connection can also be started from the GitHub side, and the Zendesk can be your destination as well, right? So it works both ways. Yeah. So once you put in the destination, it would ask you for choosing the connection type, the configuration type. So yeah, there are two options available here. The first one is basic mode. So the basic mode actually comes under a free plan, so you can use it for free. There's no charges also associated with it as such. The only limitation here is that you can only synchronize 3 fields with the basic mode, like for example the title, the description, and the comments from Zendesk. Uh, to do that, you just need to click on the next button, and it would ask you if you have an admin access to GitHub, or you don't have admin access. You can choose accordingly and click on the initiate button. Yeah, here you would get an option to copy an invitation code. Just need to click on the done button. The connection would be created here, but the connection is pending. So to complete that, you need to go to GitHub, accept invitation, paste the same code that you copied from the other side, click on the next button, and select the repository where your issues need to be synchronized. For this video, I'm using the test sync repository. So I'll just click on confirm here now. And that's how the connection now gets established. If you see, the connection is now active. And yeah, refreshing it here also make it active, right? Now to synchronize our tickets from Zendesk to GitHub, I can create, let's say, a new ticket. So a new ticket from Zendesk. That, let's say, a new uh, ticket created. And let me just submit it. Awesome. To synchronize this ticket to the GitHub side, there are two ways to do it. So either we do it manually by just clicking on the Exalate button here and selecting our connection here, and then clicking on Exalate again. So this is the manual way of synchronizing this ticket to the GitHub side. This process can also be automated by creating trigger. So just a trigger is just a filter or a criteria for synchronization, right? Once it's synchronized, it will also give us a remote link like this. So if you just click this link, it would take you to GitHub, where the new issue is created in GitHub with a few details like this. And now any update here is bidirectional by default. So let's say if we just try to comment something here, comment from GitHub. So this would just automatically be picked up and it would be synchronized back to Zendesk. So now we do not need to go to Exalate and do this operation manually. This is automated now. So yeah, this is how you would see the comment arriving from the GitHub side. Yeah, fairly simple. So this was the basic mode. The script mode is a little different. To do that, we can create a new connection and we can even do it from the GitHub side as well. So to do that, again, just initiating the connection, putting the destination instance URL. So I would just copy the Zendesk URL, paste it here, and this time I would choose the script mode. So with the script mode, the thing is that you would it's on Groovy scripting first of all, and you would see there are two types of scripts available. So an outgoing sync script and an incoming sync script, so that you can determine what information leaves from one system and what information goes to the other system. And to configure this, you just need to click on the next button and put in a couple of mandatory information like a local instance short name, which could be easy as GitHub, and the remote instance short name, which would be Zendesk. Then click on the next button and then selecting the repository. I'm using the test sync repository for this video, and I'll just click on the initiate button. Yeah, now I'll get an option to copy the invitation code again. I just need to click done here. So the part from the GitHub side is done, and you see that there's a connection created, but it's a pending state. To complete it, I need to go to my Zendesk side, accept it, and then just paste the code that we copied, click on the next button, and that is how the connection would now get established between these two systems. And to configure sync, I can just click on this button and this would load up my field mapping, which are the rules of the configuring or of the connection. So at a very high level, you would see an outgoing sync and an incoming sync, and this is available on both sides. So if I just edit this connection again, you would see that there's an outgoing and an incoming side. Uh, so the rules here is that let's say that we create a ticket on the Zendesk side, that the information that needs to leave the Zendesk system needs to be written here on the outgoing sync of Zendesk, and this would be mapped into the incoming sync of my GitHub system. So if you look at it closely, these are just fields on the Zendesk system. For example, the assignee, reporter, title or summary, description, labels, attachments, comments, statuses, for example. So what's happening here is that, for example, the description of the Zendesk ticket gets copied into this variable, which is replica.description. And this part, it gets shared with the GitHub side in the incoming sync. So this replica.description, which is actually my Zendesk ticket description, this gets copied into the issue description again. So there's a GitHub issue created against the Zendesk ticket, and this is how the description gets copied over. And similarly, vice versa. If there's an update on GitHub, so again the outgoing sync gets copied like this, and then it again gets mapped here into the incoming sync of the Zendesk ticket. So it's highly customizable. This is just an out of the box code, but it's highly customizable. You can just write your own piece of code, your own logic for the integration. You can synchronize custom fields. You can synchronize any kind of field like user fields or even let's say priority user fields, any kind of field. It's also possible to use HTTP client to use the REST APIs that are provided by the end systems for more granular control for integration. Yeah, so let's see an example now here, and yeah, we can even create a ticket, an issue on GitHub, and even that can come to Zendesk. And talking about the automation part, so you can even use triggers to create an automation. So for example, you can just write is issue, and then you can just write the repository name, uh, something like this, for example. Oops, I'm bad. Okay, and then selecting your connection name to which it needs to synchronize and make it active and create the connection. Awesome. Let's say this time I create a new ticket, uh, a new ticket created in GitHub that needs to sync to Zendesk, uh, from the website, and let's just submit it. So this ticket would now be automatically be picked up from GitHub because of the trigger that's running, right? It matches this filter. So this would be synchronized automatically now to Zendesk. To verify this, what we can do is just copy the number of the ticket and we can go to entity sync status on the GitHub side, selecting the repository. It would be test sync and then just pasting the number and you can search it. So you see that it's already synchronized and you also see a remote link. So this 1905 is the ticket number on Zendesk. I can just search for it, 1905, and that's how I see the new ticket that's already present on Zendesk. Now any comment is bidirectional. So let's say I try to do a comment from Zendesk and I just submit it. So now I do not need to do anything manually. It's the tickets are already connected. So my comment would automatically be picked up from Zendesk. You see the status is in progress, waiting for remote, and it would be synchronized shortly. I can just go to my GitHub side and I can just it's already there. So you see the comment from Zendesk has arrived. Now with the script mode, we can actually synchronize a lot more information. Apart from these basic fields, we can even, let's say, synchronize statuses. To do that, we have a very nice documentation, which I was already talking about. So you just can write for, let's say, how to synchronize statuses in GitHub, for example. So you get the outgoing and incoming logic, what you need to write on the GitHub outgoing, what you need to write on the GitHub incoming. This is also available for other systems and for other fields as well. As an example, I would just copy this and paste it on the connections tab in my GitHub, and I can just change a couple of values. So for example, on the Zendesk, I have new, open, pending, on hold, and solved. So let's take an example of let's say new and solved. So new and solved on Zendesk would be mapped with open and closed on the GitHub side. Okay, now let's just test a transition. So let's say solved on the Zendesk side. Uh, just give me 1 second. All right. So the ticket is now solved on the Zendesk side, and we would see a similar transition happening on the GitHub side as well. So the status is now waiting for remote, and it should be synchronized shortly. So this ticket or this issue should be closed on the GitHub side as well. So as soon as I refresh it, yeah, the ticket got closed. So yeah, that is how a bidirectional synchronization would look like between these two systems using Exalate. Thank you so much for joining the video, and yeah, looking forward to making more videos. Thank you so much. Bye bye.